Hey, my name is Leanne, and I'm fascinated with helping women navigate how to eat, move, and care for their bodies. This has taken me on a journey from vegan, keto, high protein to everything in between. I'm a small town holistic nutritionist turned 3-time international bestselling author turned functional medicine practitioner, offering telemedicine services around the globe to women looking to better their health and stop second-guessing themselves. I'm here to teach you how to wade through the wellness noise to get to the good stuff that'll help you achieve your goals. Whether you're seeking relief from chronic ailments, striving for peak performance, or simply eager to live a more vibrant life, this podcast is your go-to resource for actionable advice and inspiration. Together, we'll uncover the interconnectedness of nutrition, movement, sleep, stress management, and mindset, empowering you to make informed choices that support your unique health journey. Think of it as quality time with your bestie mixed with a little med school so you're empowered at your next doctor visit. Get ready to be challenged and encouraged while you learn about your body and how to care for it healthfully. Join me as we embrace vitality, reclaim our innate potential, and discover what it truly means to pursue healthfulness. Hello and welcome back. I'm glad that we get to hang out together. Last week, I saw pictures of some of you mowing your lawn and listening to the podcast. Somebody was grooming their dogs, cleaning their RV. I love seeing pictures that you share with me on Instagram at Leanne Vogel, just sharing what you're doing while you're listening. It's one of my most favorite things. So it's like we mowed the lawn together last week. I would love to see how you're listening to the show, what you're doing. If you're on a walk or cleaning the house or just straight chilling, maybe you're driving to work, then don't take a picture of you driving. Keep your eyes on the road and arrive to work safely. We're going to talk about peptides again today from a very different angle. I'm excited to go through it. If you remember last year, about October 2024, I did an episode with Jim Laval about peptides. Exploring Peptides with Jim Laval is what it was called. Lavallee, but I think it's Laval. I read his book on peptides. I had started using peptides in my practice, but the problem with therapeutic peptides is they are very expensive. They're very expensive. Like some of the good ones are around $500 a month. And that, are you kidding me? $500 a month. That's the cost of my car insurance because it's expensive. And so around that time, I was starting to use bioactive precision peptides. In fact, I think during that episode, I even mentioned to Jim, hey, have you heard that there's some bioactive peptides coming down and they're going to be an oral base and far less costly than therapeutic peptides? I had no idea the impact that these little peptides were going to have on my practice. I was testing them out on clients and seeing how they went. And fast forward a whole bunch of months, and I just cannot stop talking about them. So we've done a couple of episodes on bioactive precision peptides. June 3rd, episode 528, there was an episode, Bioactive Peptides, Molecular Messengers Changing Women's Health. So I wanted to start the whole conversation around bioactive peptides with a very detailed explanation of what they're doing in the body. Then in episode 532, there was a slight bioactive precision peptide focus in this episode. I was talking about hormone weight gain and the connection that no one talks about. So that talks about weight gain and peptides. And then a very common question I get is, hey, Leanne, you talk about these peptides, they sound great, but I'm already taking, insert number here, 20 supplements. What can I remove and try these peptides? So I did a full episode on this in episode 533, which was called Ditch the Supplement Stack, Peptides Replace 30 Pills. Maybe not 30, but I reviewed 30 different pills. You're probably not taking all those different supplements, but it's worth listening to if after today's conversation, you're like, I want to do this, but I'm already taking so many things. What am I supposed to prioritize? How am I doing this? So today I wanted to talk about the clinical results that I've seen on the peptides. Now I have a document that goes along with this. It's pretty impossible at this point to provide documents to people easily, and how, costly these sorts of things have become. And the podcast is just a passion project at this point. So if you want the document, probably the best way to get it is to email me info@healthfulpursuit.com and just ask me for the clinical peptide document and I'll send it to your email. It's a 2-page document that I've outlined what my clients have experienced on the peptides. I created it for practitioners when they were curious about using peptides in their practice. But because I think we're all nerds here, and that's probably why you follow me, because you have like a little inner nerd, you might really enjoy it. And the document talks about body recomposition, metabolic wellness, inflammation control, hair and skin vitality, oxidative stress, and then the baseline of basic markers like CRP, glucose, insulin, ferritin, body fat via DEXA scan, and how things have changed over an 8-week period using the bioactive precision peptides. Really fun document, pretty simple. Anyone can understand it. And yeah, so if you want it, just send me an email because there's no way for me to really do this over the internet easily. So today's episode, my intention here is to merge science with real life, sort of like what happens when real women actually start using bioactive precision peptides. Recently, and I'm going to share this with you because even though I don't know you, I feel like we know each other, we know each other. And something kind of hurtful happened recently where I was accused of taking advantage of people by promoting products that I love. And I care about the choices you make because I want to make sure that you are not making the wrong choices for yourself. And I hope that comes very clear in the work that I put out there. I have an interest in making sure that you make the right decision for you, but I could care less about what that decision ends up being if you feel like you were equipped and you understood the decisions that you were making. If you decide to eat vegan and you've gone through all the details and you're like, I really feel like this is what's best for me, I'll be like, great. If you've done your research and you feel equipped, you go for it. Do I think that vegan is good for most people? No. Am I quite open about that? Yeah. And I'm pretty if I don't like something or if I think it's unsettling, I will absolutely tell you. And so if you don't enjoy the peptide conversation from a place of, I totally want to buy that, that's totally cool. If this doesn't resonate with you, that's great. I would rather you listen to something or consume some sort of content and realize it's not for you than feel pressured into doing it just because other people are doing it. So before we get into the convo, if you're not going to listen to the whole episode on what peptides do and all of that, again, that's episode 528 called Molecular Messengers, Changing Women's Health. Then I want to just briefly explain what peptides are. So think of peptides like little text messages that go directly to the cell and tell the cell what to do. It's unlike vitamin C, where vitamin C just goes into the body and the body gets to decide, well, we want this for immune function. We want to help this with our collagen production. It just determines it. But with peptides, they're text messages, demands the cell receives, and they do that thing. So they're very targeted. And until now, they had to be injected. Now, there are some therapeutic peptides that can be taken orally, and they range anywhere between $100 and $300 per peptide. And so the bioactive precision peptides are different in that they take plant-based proteins, they break them up with enzymes, and then they sequence the amino acids, which are the result of the breakdown with enzymes, into specific messages that are then protein bound and can be taken orally. So let's talk about why this isn't just another health trend and what makes the clinical use of peptides so compelling. So you've probably heard the word peptides tossed around a lot lately, and there's a lot of confusion around peptides being collagen peptides. Think of collagen peptides as huge bricks to build something, whereas peptides, what we're talking about here, therapeutic or bioactive precision peptides that are plant-based, are the messengers that tell the body what to build. They're the blueprints. They're the master plan, whereas the bricks just kind of show up. So not the same. The technology has changed so much that I am telling you, collagen peptides are a moot point at this point. Like they've had their time. It was like, what was before keto? What were we doing before keto? Maybe vegan. It was like when vegan was no longer cool and people were starting to eat keto. And I was telling people, hey, keto is the thing. And people were like, you're crazy. And then keto was totally the thing. This is the thing, because science shifts. We learn more. This isn't fluff. This is like targeted, clinically researched, plant-derived, and formulated to communicate directly with your cells. Collagen does none of that. And yes, we do need collagen, but there are peptides that will trigger it without having to just throw bricks in your body and hope for the best. So the key difference between a regular supplement and a bioactive peptide is that it's not just a nutrient, it's a messenger. They're not trying to override your body or dump more quote unquote stuff into your system. The peptides are giving your body instructions like signals, guidance, directive, and the science behind them is incredibly exciting. So I want to break down this, like all of this, so that it makes sense like in a real way, because the clinical application just means that we're not guessing anymore. We're not like throwing 30 pills at the wall and hoping that something sticks. Like I remember learning at nutrition school, like everyone needs to be on a probiotic. Everyone needs to be on magnesium. Everyone needs to be on XYZ. When I learned blood chemistry, let me tell you, basically nobody needs to be on a multivitamin. I would say 20% need to be on a probiotic, but we just didn't know. And now that we understand functional blood chemistry, the whole game has changed. And unfortunately, I would say 80 to 90% of practitioners, maybe that's a high number. I doubt it though. 80 to 90% of practitioners are still looking at the body as, well, this is the protocol that I've done for clients. I'm going to give this protocol to this person and they're going to get better because this protocol works for everybody. And it's just not the case anymore. We have more details. We can be more targeted. And when somebody's on 20 plus supplements and we're just like throwing them at the wall, seeing what sticks, it's not working. So with the bioactive precision peptides, these peptides have been tested both in labs with real humans for things like inflammation, muscle protein synthesis, recovery time, neurotransmitter balance, energy resilience. And here's a really exciting part is that they are orally bioavailable. That means you don't have to inject, or I did peptides for probably about 6 months, the injectable ones. And it was such a pain because when you're traveling, you have to store them and then you have to carry the needles and then you have to make sure that they're cold all the time. And then you have to order more. And if it runs out or it goes beyond 30 days, you have to get more, even though you're half a vial down and it's gotten expired and you spent all this money. Like it's just, so annoying. So these peptides are wrapped in a protein matrix, and that basically is a protective shield that allows them to survive digestion and they get where they need to go. So when I say clinical use, I'm talking about the tools that have been intentionally developed and not just found. So they're discovered using AI technology. So basically, as these enzymes break down these amino acids, the AI technology looks at the amino acids and then patterns them in a way that the body will then see the text message as reduce inflammation. So this is basically your biology upgraded. And the interesting thing about this too is I think a lot of the times we just think, well, if one supplement is good, then all of them is better. But I want you, and I've talked about this so much on the show, and I sound like a broken record, and it's for good intention. I want you to think about what your top 3 goals are. And if you don't know if the protocol that you're on right now is going to hit those goals, whoever's responsible for that, you need to ask them, what are we doing? Here are my top 3 goals. How are we moving toward these goals? Like if your goal is inflammation reduction and you've been on a program for 6 months and your inflammation has not reduced, then chances are you're on the wrong protocol. You're on a standard protocol that everybody is put on from this practitioner, or you're responsible for your protocols and you're out of ideas. And when I hear about women using fit for recovery, calm for stress, lean for stubborn fat. It's not wishful thinking. It's not the next product that promises XYZ. The products and the supplements on the market today are very broad scope. And so in the example of vitamin C, like when you take the vitamin C, you might have a goal of supporting your immune system, but vitamin C will also detox heavy metals. Vitamin C will also support collagen production. So when you take that vitamin C, you don't know what's going to happen. And also, you don't even know if you need vitamin C. Like, why are you taking vitamin C if you don't know that you need it? With nutrients, it is absolutely essential that you know whether or not you are needing a specific nutrient. I firmly believe in my core, and I've seen it time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. I've been a practitioner for 18 years, working with people for 18 years. And time again, when we test their nutrients, we are always surprised. We are always surprised with what comes back. And 100% of the time, they never are put on a multivitamin. Like, let that sink in. And so if we're using these broad scope supplements to just like throw at the wall and see what sticks, and we have something that if your goal is inflammation reduction, why mess around with boswellia and blah, 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 blah? Ask yourself, why is there inflammation? What is happening in the body? I would put somebody on fit to help with the inflammation. And then I would ask, what is the source of the inflammation, and dig a little bit deeper. Does that make sense? So I want to get into the specifics next, but first I just want to anchor this conversation in truth that it's not about chasing health hacks anymore. It's about using what we know clinically, biologically, and practically to help your body remember how to function. Like that, like I don't understand why we are using protocols and approaches from the early 2000s. It is now 2025. We have testing. We have functional blood chemistry. We have symptomology. We have so much at our fingertips, and we're still putting people on multivitamins and probiotics. Like I can't comprehend it. Element makes it simple to stay hydrated with a clinical dose of electrolytes, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams magnesium. No sugar, no junk, just what your body actually needs. As a practitioner, I love that Element offers a raw, unflavored option, perfect if you're avoiding sweeteners or additives. It's an easy go-to for supporting adrenal health, proper muscle function, and overall hydration, especially for those on a low-carb diet or fasting protocols. Whether you're training hard, working long days, or just prone to feeling sluggish and depleted on a low-carb diet, this can help. Right now, Element is offering a free 8-stick sample pack with any purchase. You'll get to try their most popular flavors, including citrus, raspberry, watermelon, and orange. Go to drinklmnt.com/KDP for your purchase and get your free 8-stick sample pack. Again, that's drinklmnt.com/KDP. So now that we've covered like why peptides matter, and I just spent 16 minutes on it, let's talk about the results, like real studied clinical outcomes that go well beyond the hype. So I don't remember when I shared this, but I can sometimes get pretty discouraged because a lot of the work that I do is like helping people just sort through the details of their lives and bring some sort of hope to a situation. And I feel very appreciated by so many people, but it's also can be a really hard job. And there are days where it just weighs really heavily on me. And so I actually made a folder for a couple of things. I made a folder of clients telling me that they enjoy working with me, and I read it often. I made a folder of people that listen to the podcast. I don't read the podcast reviews because some of them are pretty mean, but like the nice ones, like the messages I receive on Instagram, I save those on my computer and I read them. And then I also have a folder of all of the feedback that I get on the peptides. Just, when things happen, I go back to them. I'm like, right. This is why I do this. So I want to start off by reading some of them, and I haven't vetted these. So I'm just going to like read them and we'll see where we end up. So I'm not going to say who they're from. I just literally screenshot the message that I received. So calm is amazing. I've been sleeping so well and waking feeling more rested than I have in a long time. Still getting into the groove with hydrated and fit, trying them together lately, which is nice. Overall, I'm feeling more energized. Another one, reset is going well. I have lost over 5 pounds. I still have mad sugar cravings, which are a constant struggle. I'm even sleeping better, which is a huge success because I suck at sleeping. Just checking in. I'm still good with everything, and I have finally lost a few pounds. Clothes are fitting looser, except in the legs because I have lipedema. Another message. Oh, an extra bonus. I'm down 6 pounds since starting these products. An update on protocol. I didn't start it to lose weight, but to help postpartum depression and recovery. My nervous system is starting to regulate more, and I have already lost a solid 1/2 inch and 1 inch in some of my measurements. Okay, this is a picture of somebody's nails. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. So this never happens to me. My nails are usually nubs, or half of them are broken. All 10 look like this, and I am loving it. Some improvements I'm seeing: nails growing like crazy, skin not as dry, significantly less moody, only waking once at night versus several, sugar cravings almost non-existent. Hydrated does work significantly better than Element in terms of swelling. I still use Element a few times during my landscaping projects because I was sweating way more than usual, and I blew up like a balloon later in the day after drinking Element. Thank you. I was like ridiculously sick with a stomach bug on Tuesday, and I swear Hydrated saved me. I drank it later in the day because I couldn't keep anything down, and I kept that down and got a huge boost. Very different than a couple months ago when a stomach bug landed me in the ER from extreme dehydration. Like, there are so many of these. I cannot even read all of them. I'll read just a couple more. I'm starting to see the hair benefits. I had noticeably less hair fall out when I washed it this morning. I've been using Lean and Hydrated consistently for the last month and love them. My nails are strong and growing really fast. I have less food noise, and I'm able to resist cravings so much easier. I added Calm in last week, and that's been amazing. My sleep is getting better, and my HRV has increased. Okay, one more. I'm doing well. I do feel good. Steady energy throughout the day, not crashing at 1 to 2 p.m. It's been an adjustment to drink that much water first thing in the morning for sure, but so far, so good. I read these so often. If ever anything that I share with you resonates with you and helps you, I really encourage you to reach out to me and tell me, because it really does help when I'm, just working late hours and making podcasts, and I'm on my 5th recording today and I'm losing my voice. I read those and I'm like, right, this is why I'm doing it, because people need this information. So I mentioned like Fit, Lean, Calm, Hydrated, and all the things. So I want to talk a little bit about the products and the results that they have and like what they're doing, et cetera. And then I'll probably go through the clinical results document fully, just so you can get a sense of like the changes that we've seen, because we're talking about clinical results. So let's go through the clinical results document, right? Okay. So let's start with Fit, because honestly, this is the foundation of everything. Fit uses a peptide complex called Pepti Strong Plus, which is derived from fava bean. But this isn't your average plant protein because the peptides inside, one is HLP-SYS-PSPQ, and the other is TIKI-PAGT. That's what I mean. They're just like sequences of amino acids. It's been shown to do 2 critical things: increase muscle protein synthesis and reduce inflammation, especially the kind driven by TNF-alpha, which is a huge player in aging and fatigue. So in a clinical trial, Fit was shown to improve muscle strength recovery by over 50% compared to the placebo. And it didn't just help people recover, it actually increased strength to above their baseline levels compared to whey protein. It delivered 4 times the effect on muscle protein synthesis than whey protein did. That is wild, especially when you consider that this is a naturally flavored powder that you take on the go. It's not an injection. There's no bloating. There's no mixing tubs of chalky powder and injecting it and having to travel with cold packs. Okay, that is so cool. So then there's Lean. So this one is huge for midlife metabolism and cravings. However, if you do have SIBO, I would not recommend this product, but Lean uses a complex called Acti-Curb Trim Fast. Basically, it works by communicating with your gut-brain axis. So that's basically the internal messaging system that controls hunger and satiety. But again, because it acts on the gut-brain axis, then if you have any gut, like specifically SIBO, oftentimes it will flare SIBO. So if you have an active SIBO situation, I would avoid this. And so because it works internally in the cues for hunger and satiety, instead of overstimulating your body like some synthetic like fat burners will do, it helps reduce cravings naturally and teaches your body to burn more effectively. It also supports thermogenesis, which is basically a fancy way of saying your body burns more calories because it's creating its own heat. So women often use Lean when they have like midsection struggles, when they're having a lot of snack attacks, like a sweet treat thing happening. And even with workouts, I've seen substantial changes. So next up is Calm. Now, this product does not have peptides in it. It has a combination of ashwagandha, GABA, lemon balm, and L-theanine. When individuals are interested in products like Fit and Lean and Energized, oftentimes there is a level of nervous system dysregulation, and I love Calm for this. I get pretty jazzed up when I'm making episodes, and so I use Calm to kind of settle myself after that. It helps lower cortisol. It supports serotonin and dopamine balance. It promotes relaxation without feeling groggy, though I have had some reports in a small group of individuals who they take this before bed because it just knocks them right out. So because most of us don't want to feel sedated, we just want to feel calm. This is a great product. But a lot of individuals take it before sleep and they say that their sleep is far better. And then Hydrated, this is another non-peptide formula. But here's the thing. When we're taking peptides, they lock on to the cells and how do I say it? The saturation of a cell is important for communication, and communication is used through the sodium potassium regulation and the saturation of the cell. So we need to make sure that dehydration is not something we're dealing with, because hydration at the cellular level is essential for peptide uptake and also just for nutrient absorption, energy, etc. So Hydrated also use glycine-bound electrolytes and coconut water powder. So we're going to optimize hydration far more than plain water ever can. And so when women use this in addition to the Fit or Lean or even Focused, they see better energy, better focus, faster recovery, less brain fog, etc. Now, Energized. So this is part of the suite of products. I don't use Energized a lot. I have a ton of boxes because I keep wanting to give out samples, but it kind of if you have Fit, I'm not entirely sure that you also need Energized, though I do have customers that they love both. But if I had to choose, and I do choose between the two, it's always going to be Fit. So Energized is really helpful for energy at the cellular level. The formula uses fatigue-fighting peptides, ginseng, and natural caffeine from whole coffee fruit extract to recharge ATP. It doesn't cause jitters. It doesn't cause a crash, but Fit will do something very similar. And I don't have a lot, because I don't have a lot of people on Energize. I don't have a lot of results on Energize. And I would say of the suite of products, it's not something that I often use a lot of or find the need to, unless somebody says I just want to focus on afternoon fatigue. It's driving me crazy. Then I'm let's just start with Energized and see how we go. But usually it's let's do Fit, Hydrated, and Lean, or Fit, Hydrated, and Calm. Finally, Focus. Now, Focus is my personal favorite, but people just don't want cognitive support or nootropics like they do losing weight. And so the Bacopa and the Ginkgo and the Lutamax Brain, it helps with memory and clarity and protects your brain from the effects of blue light. But people negative blue light, the stuff from your laptop. But people, it's just not sexy. So unfortunately, there aren't a lot of people on this, but I think a lot of people could benefit from this. In fact, most men will choose Focused and Calm, and most women will choose Lean and Fit. I'll just let that sink in. So to sum it up, These results aren't wishful thinking. They're measurable, trackable, and clinically backed, which gets us into my clinical results document. And if you want it, just send me an email, info@healthfulpursuit.com, and say, I want the clinical results document, and I'll send it over to you. So I'm just going to go through some of the data that's in there. So body recomposition, muscle protein synthesis climbed fourfold versus whey, and strength rebounded to 103% of baseline within 72 hours, leaving users with 47% less fatigue after hard training. Now, this is after the group that I sampled is an 8-week period of individuals on fit, lean, calm, and hydrated. Okay, so those 4. Metabolic wellness. So Acti Curb Trim Fast Complex signals the gut-brain axis, easing cravings and supporting healthy insulin response to clients that can drop visceral fat without losing lean tissue. That's the key thing is when we're celebrating the weight loss on the scale, that's awesome. But if it's muscle, that's not so awesome. That's not awesome at all, right? Because weight loss with muscle loss is a loss overall. So if we just look at each marker, CRP, we had a baseline of 4.8 with a group of 35 women. And by week 8, the CRP, which is an inflammatory marker, went from 4.8 to 1.9. That's a drop of 60%. So why this matters? It lowers systemic inflammation. Then we had glucose of the group of 35 women of my clients on these 4 products. The baseline for glucose was 105. And after week 8, it was 92. So we saw a 12% drop in glucose. So what this means is better glycemic control, which is a total win. Insulin, the baseline was 18. And after 8 weeks, it went to 9. This is a change of 50%, a 50% reduction in insulin. So we could say that this restored insulin sensitivity. Ferritin. I love using ferritin as an inflammatory marker. Baseline before starting the peptides was 150. And then after week 8, we moved to 75. Okay. So again, another 50%. That's incredible with no blood donations. So we could say that there's less iron-driven oxidative stress, which is essential, especially for women that are going through perimenopause, have experienced menopause. They're no longer bleeding, their ferritin increases, and inflammation just starts ramping up. Then this one, I know that you're going to love it. Okay. Body fat using a DEXA scan. Baseline was 31%. And after week 8, we got down to 26%. So that's a 5-point difference. So we saw a visible body recomp. That's what we want. That is what we want. So incredible results. Small group of individuals, 35 people, but I would say a really, really good start to things for sure. Lean is a unique peptide-driven formula focused on helping women regulate hunger, reduce visceral fat, and stabilize insulin without wrecking hormones. Unlike GLP-1 drugs, which force appetite suppression and often lead to muscle loss, Lean supports leptin signaling, ghrelin balance, and glucose metabolism naturally. Clinical results show up to a 10% reduction in fat mass with no impact on lean tissue. The peptides in Lean also support mitochondrial biogenesis and metabolic rate, important for women navigating hormonal fluctuations. Here's what Rena, age 47, had to say. I felt more in control of my hunger, even during the luteal phase. I lost 9 pounds, but more importantly, I finally broke my plateau without burnout. If your body feels stuck, like it's working against you, Lean is the signal reset for your body. You can click the link in the show notes to reclaim your metabolism with science that works for women, or go to healthfulpursuit.com/make. Now, every order, if you set up a subscription, you're going to get 10% off for the first couple of months and 20% off ongoing after your 3rd month. And all of my customers receive my personal phone number where we can text back and forth and talk about the impact that these peptides are having on your fat metabolism, your hormones, and your appetite. Again, that's healthfulpursuit.com/make, or check out the show notes for the link. So at this point, you're probably wondering, is this right for me? What should I do? So let's make it really simple. If you're a woman over the age of 35 who feels like their body isn't responding the way it used to, even though you're eating clean, moving your body, and doing all the right things, peptides could be for you. Okay. If you're noticing changes in energy, metabolism, sleep, muscle tone, focus, or even your mood, and thinking like this can't just be about getting older, you're totally right. It's totally not. It's your biology shifting, and peptides are designed to meet you there. Okay. So these formulas are especially powerful if you're in perimenopause or postmenopause and noticing the effects of hormone shifts. You've had autoimmune issues, gut inflammation, and stress-related burnout. In fact, one of the ladies that I'm working with on peptides, and we're doing like a lot of education stuff so that she understands kind of what they are and those sorts of things. She has an autoimmune condition, and she asked me to put together this autoimmune paper for her so she could explain it. And really interesting stuff with autoimmune. If you're interested, I can definitely share it with you. If you've plateaued, whether it's fat loss, energy, performance, and nothing is moving the needle, then peptides could also be for you. And if you've been stuck in like the supplement hamster wheel, like we'll just add more and see what happens. Now that's it. Now, with all that said, like this isn't for everyone. And it concerns me when people say it is. Like a lot of people say that what they found is the missing ticket. Like, this is a game changer. You need this. I'm not saying that at all. Like, if you're looking for a quick fix without changing anything else, like this is not going to be your moment. Just like hormone replacement therapy, individuals go on it all the time and they're like, yay, I feel so much better. And then 3 months later, they're back where they started because they made no other changes. If you're pregnant or managing a complex medical condition, I would check with your practitioner first. These are powerful tools, but your health history is important and what you're currently working on is important. But if you feel the pull, like if there's something inside you saying like, I'm ready for a different approach, and hopefully we've known each other a while and I don't know you personally, so I can't say 100% this is for you. But I can tell you that I stand behind this. The research is solid. The science is exciting. And the clinical results that I've seen in my practice are enough that I am very confident going out and saying like, yes, this is good stuff. And it takes me quite a while to plant my flag in anything because I know how much my recommendations mean. And I don't take that lightly. It actually like really, I wouldn't say like affects me, but it's definitely a weight that I carry that I know that I carry. And it is very, very real. So if you're thinking like, hey, maybe one of these would be good for me, I kind of want to take you through each one, top level, what they do. So fit, if you're interested in inflammation, muscle repair, strength, clues that you would need it include like lingering soreness, slow recovery. Lean, it's going to curb cravings, burn fat, help with snackiness, regulate glucose. So clues you need it is that you're snacking nonstop, you have stubborn belly fat. Energized, it's going to provide crash-free lasting energy. So if you're dragging in the mornings, you have that like afternoon slump, it could be a good choice. Focused, it's for sharper focus and memory. I personally take this every day and love it so much. Clues you need it: brain fog, screen time strain, any issues with concentration when you're working or doing literally anything. Hydrated, this is for rapid cellular hydration. Signs that you need an electrolyte include cramping, headaches, dry mouth, ongoing thirst, bad sleep. And calm is for stress relief, restful sleep, and nervous system regulation. So if you have racing thoughts, restless nights could be beneficial for you. So I'm going to include a link in the show notes so you can check it out. You can go to healthfulpursuit.com/make, and it will also be there for you, and you can check out each of the products. You have my email, info@healthfulpursuit.com, if you want the clinical results document. Or I even did a collagen comparison looking at the difference between bioactive peptides and collagens on the market and how that influences joint health, hair and skin and nails. So I've gone through a lot of it. So here's what I want to leave you with. You don't need anything. You need water, you need sleep, you need to eat enough. And if you're doing the basics of moving your body, eating well, drinking clean water, and you're just like spinning your wheels. I've been there. I've most recently been there where I'm like, wait, what I'm doing is not working. The best thing you can do if you've been at something for a significant long time is just like, look at it, decide what your goals are, and pivot. So if this episode spoke to you, you can go explore the products, healthfulpursuit.com/make. And if you have questions, you have my email. And if you do decide to purchase any of the products, when you purchase, I send you a text message with my personal phone number. Like I actually write the text on my phone and send it to you. So you have my personal number. If you have questions about the peptides or support, or after being on it in 3 months, you're like, wow, this is so great. I want to try something else, then I'm there to support you through that. I share promos and stuff on there as well when they come up and those sorts of things. So we're always connected. So I'm glad that we got to hang out, and I'll see you back here next week. Okay. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Healthful Pursuit Podcast. Join us next Tuesday for another episode of the show. If you're looking for free resources, there are a couple of places you can go. The first to my blog, healthfulpursuit.com, where you're going to find loads of recipes. The second is a free parasite protocol that I've put together for you that outlines symptoms, testing, and resources to determine whether or not you have a parasite, plus a full protocol to follow to eradicate them from your life if you need to. That's available at healthfulpursuit.com/parasites. And last but certainly not least, a full list of blood work markers to ask your doctor for so that you can get a full picture of your health. You can grab that free resource by going to healthfulpursuit.com/labs. The Healthful Pursuit Podcast, including show notes and links, provides information in respect to healthy living, recipes, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor is it to be construed as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Healthful Pursuit Podcast reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without any representation or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified health practitioner with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.